Now I'd like to talk to you about the San Pedro Watershed Basin and Kartchner Caverns. I want to tie the hydrology, the water, and the lithology, the ground, together. So I took this picture. It was in the Kartchner Caverns Visitor Center, and it's supposed to be a picture of the San Pedro Watershed Basin. Now we need a little vocabulary here. A watershed basin is an area in which all the water, either on the surface or underground, is all heading towards a common base level. In this case, the common base level, the common goal, if you would, is the San Pedro River. And it gets that way because of recharge, right? Well, I'm talking about the groundwater now. When it rains on the land, it either is going to drain out through rivers, as you can see in this picture, or it's going to get into the ground and move as groundwater. Now, this little area right here in the middle is supposed to be Kartchner Caverns. It's at the base of the San Pedro Mountains. The San Pedro Mountains are fault block mountains, and this black line here and this black line here are supposed to represent two major faults. Now, faults, of course, provide a conduit for water. In case you've forgotten, fault block mountains are a result of extensional forces which happen at divergent plate boundaries. And when these forces are pulling the continents apart, eventually the crust breaks and slides, right? These black lines are fault lines. And of course, when the rock breaks and slides, it's going to be all ground up and a lot easier for water to get from the surface down to the groundwater as recharge. I took a picture of some, what I believe are fault block mountains as we were driving by. Do you see them? Do you see anything there that looks like, oh, say this? If you had to draw the lines for the fault, where would you put them? I would put them here and here. So anyway, we've got these conduits where the recharge can get to the groundwater system. And as I've been telling you over and over again, this is all about chemistry. The water, as rain, combines with carbon dioxide in the atmosphere to make carbonic acid. It's called acid rain when there's lots of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and our rain is getting more acidic because we're pumping a lot of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere because we combust a lot of fossil fuels, mostly through our transportation, and groundwater, as well as water on the surface, is becoming more acidic. That impacts the flora and fauna more than the rocks, but it does impact the rocks, and it actually creates some rather beautiful things over geologic time. So this slightly acidic water is moving through carbonate rock, which is prone to dissolution from carbonic acid, and so it creates these caverns. And of course, because the groundwater is still moving through there, the water may be dripping off the ceiling, and then as the water drips, it evaporates. As it evaporates, the little bits of carbonate rock that are dissolved into it get reprecipitated, and so they create these lovely structures. And then when they hit the floor, the water can dissolve there and leave a little bit of carbonate rock behind too. And so then we get these other little things. They're called stalagmites, and the ones that are hanging down are called stalactites. Lastly, I wanted to show you another sinkhole. This one's not a tourist attraction. It's probably called a disaster area. It's in Florida. Florida has a lot of sinkholes because it's underlain by carbonate rock. It used to be underwater. And so it is prone to dissolution by carbonic acid. And so when the hole underground becomes too big for whatever was on top of it, it looks like a road in this case, it just suddenly collapses and you get a sinkhole.